Welcome to our deep dive into prepping for that Forestry Advisor interview.
Yes.
You send over some really interesting sample questions.
Yeah.
And we're going to break down how to approach each one.
Great.
But first, let's set the scene a little bit.
Okay.
What exactly does a Forestry Advisor do?
It's a role that's constantly evolving.
Right.
You can think of it as a balancing act
Yeah.
between economics of timber production and the crucial need to protect our forests.
Okay, so they're kind of like the guardians of the forest, making sure we can use its resources
Exactly.
without destroying it for future generations.
Yeah, and that's why these interview questions are designed to test not just your technical knowledge,
Right.
but also your understanding of sustainability, stakeholder engagement,
Okay.
and the big picture of forestry.
Okay, let's dive into these questions.
Okay.
The first one is a classic.
Yeah.
What inspired you to pursue a career in forestry? It seems simple, but it's your chance to really make a strong first impression.
This is where you want to showcase your genuine passion.
Right.
Think about what really sparked that interest.
Yeah.
Was it a childhood memory exploring the woods? A fascination with how ecosystems work?
Yeah.
Or maybe a desire to tackle climate change head on?
I like that. And speaking of connecting, the RoleCatcher Career Guide we have here
Yes.
mentions that many successful forestry advisors emphasize their commitment to both environmental and economic sustainability.
That's a great point. You want to show them you understand the complexities of the industry
Mm-hmm.
and that you're not just a tree hugger or a timber baron,
Right.
but someone who can see the big picture.
Right. And be ready for a potential follow-up question like, can you tell us about a specific experience that solidified your interest?
Yeah.
Have a vivid anecdote ready to really bring your answer to life. Now, moving on to question number 2.
Okay.
What do you consider to be the biggest challenges facing the forestry industry today?
All right.
This is where you show them you've done your homework.
Right. This is not the time to just rattle off buzzwords like climate change or deforestation.
Yeah.
You need to go deeper and connect those challenges to real-world impacts.
Exactly.
For example, the guide mentions the struggle to balance economic demands with environmental sustainability.
Right.
How would you approach that?
Exactly. Think about how climate change is leading to more frequent wildfires, changes in tree species distribution,
Yeah.
and increased pest outbreaks.
Right.
Connect the dots and demonstrate that you understand the on-the-ground realities.
And be prepared for a follow-up, like what innovative solutions are being explored to address these challenges.
Yeah.
This is where you can mention things like using drones for forest health assessments, implementing precision forestry techniques,
Right.
or exploring new carbon sequestration methods.
Yeah, you want to showcase that you're not just aware of the problems, but actively seeking out solutions. And guess what?
What?
RoleCatcher can actually help you tailor your answers to highlight these solutions.
Oh, wow.
Imagine uploading the job description, and RoleCatcher analyzes it, suggesting keywords and phrases to emphasize those innovative approaches.
Yeah.
Pretty neat, huh?
It's a fantastic tool for making sure your answers are aligned with what employers are looking for.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to question number 3.
Okay.
How do you keep up to date with the latest forestry research and trends?
Okay.
This is all about showcasing your commitment to lifelong learning.
Exactly. It's about staying ahead of the curve. What are you reading or listening to that keeps your forestry knowledge fresh?
Right.
Is it publications like the Journal of Forestry podcast, like Forest Forward, or attending webinars on the latest remote sensing tech? Show them you're plugged into the evolving world of forestry.
And remember, it's not just about passive learning.
Right.
Think about conferences you've attended, workshops you've participated in,
Right.
or even field research projects you've been involved with.
And be ready for that follow-up question. Can you give an example of how you applied a new technique or insight from your research?
Exactly.
I want to see that you're not just absorbing information,
Yeah.
but actively applying it to real-world situations.
Now, question number 4 is where things get interesting.
Okay.
How do you balance the economic and environmental aspects of forestry management?
Right.
It's a classic dilemma, and
Yeah.
there's no easy answer.
It's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Exactly.
Where you can sustainably harvest timber while protecting biodiversity,
Right.
soil health,
Yeah.
and water quality.
Yeah. The guide mentions certifications like
Okay.
Certified Forester, CF,
Right.
and Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, as valuable tools for promoting responsible forestry practices.
Okay.
How would you use those in your decision-making?
That's a good point.
And they might even throw in a curveball. Like,
Oh,
how would you explain this balance to a community concerned about the impact of logging? How would you approach that conversation?
It's about finding that common ground, right? And communicating in a way that addresses those concerns.
Yeah.
But it's not just about talking. The talk question 5 asks, how do you measure the success of a forestry management project?
Right.
And that gets at the heart of what it means to be a forestry advisor.
You want to showcase a holistic view of success going beyond just the financial bottom line. The guide highlights metrics like tree growth and carbon sequestration, alongside economic benefits for the community.
Right.
It's about understanding how those pieces fit together.
And that potential follow-up question, have you ever faced a project that fell short of its goals? What did you learn from that?
Yeah.
Can be tricky.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to talk about setbacks,
Right.
but it shows you're willing to learn and adapt.
Absolutely. Now, question 6 is all about people skills.
Okay.
How do you approach stakeholder engagement in forestry management?
Right.
You've got diverse groups to consider, timber companies, local communities, environmental organizations, and they might not always agree.
Of course.
How would you navigate that?
Think about tailoring your communication style for each stakeholder.
Yeah.
The way you speak to a logging company executive might be different from how you engage with a concerned citizen at a town hall meeting.
Right, and that potential follow-up.
Okay.
Can you share a successful example of resolving a conflict between stakeholders with differing priorities? Is your chance to shine?
Yeah.
Think about a time when you had to find common ground and achieve a mutually beneficial outcome.
All right, question 7 brings us back to that pressing issue of climate change.
Okay.
How do you incorporate climate change considerations into forestry management decisions? It's not just about planting more trees.
Right.
It's about making strategic decisions.
Yeah.
That consider the long-term impacts of a changing climate.
Exactly. How would you choose tree species that are resilient to drought, pests, and diseases?
Right.
How would you manage forests to reduce wildfire risk?
Yeah.
These are all critical questions that a forestry advisor needs to grapple with.
And here's where some technical knowledge comes in handy.
Yeah.
The guide mentions specific adaptation strategies,
right.
like assisted migration, where you intentionally plant species that are better suited to future climate conditions.
Right.
Or promoting mixed species stands to increase resilience.
Yeah.
Being able to discuss these strategies shows you're thinking ahead.
And that potential follow-up, what role do you see technology playing in adapting forestry practices to climate change?
Right.
Is your chance to highlight those innovative tools we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
Drones, remote sensing, precision forestry. These can all play a vital role in helping us manage forests more sustainably in a changing climate.
And remember, RoleCatcher can help you analyze the job description
Yes.
and identify which technologies are most relevant to emphasize in your answers.
Right.
It's all about tailoring your responses to show that you're the right fit for this specific role.
Now, question 8 shifts the gears a bit. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision related to forestry management. How did you approach the situation?
Okay.
This is a classic behavioral question.
Right.
And they're looking for insights into your decision-making process.
So think back on your experiences.
Yeah.
Maybe you had to choose between short-term economic gains and long-term ecological sustainability.
Right.
Or maybe you had to deal with a conflict between different stakeholder groups. Walk them through your thought process.
Yeah.
How did you gather information? Who did you consult?
Yeah.
How did you weigh the pros and cons of each option?
And remember, it's okay to talk about mistakes you've made.
Right.
What matters is that you learned from them and can demonstrate how you've grown as a decision maker.
All right. Question 9 focuses on communication skills.
Okay.
Imagine you need to explain a complex forestry management plan to a group of non-experts. How would you ensure they understand the key points?
Right.
Forestry can be pretty technical, so being able to break it down into plain language is essential.
Think about your audience.
Right.
What are their concerns? What's most relevant to them?
Yeah.
And how can you make the information engaging and memorable?
Okay.
Maybe you use visuals, analogies, or real-life examples.
Right.
The guide actually mentions a great technique, framing forestry decisions in terms of ecosystem services, like clean water, carbon storage, or wildlife habitat.
I like that.
That helps people understand the broader benefits of responsible forest management.
And don't forget to encourage questions and feedback.
Yes.
Make sure everyone is on the same page and feels heard.
Question 10 is the one everyone dreads a little. What are your salary expectations for this role?
Okay.
But it's important to be prepared.
Right.
Do your research beforehand. Look at industry benchmarks and salary surveys.
Right.
And consider your experience and qualifications.
Have a range in mind.
Yeah.
And be ready to justify it.
And remember, salary isn't everything. Think about the overall compensation package, including benefits, professional development opportunities, and work-life balance.
Now, question 11 is about your long-term vision.
Okay.
What are your long-term career goals?
Right.
It's not about having a rigid 5-year plan, but showing that you're ambitious and have a direction you're heading in.
Yeah.
Maybe you're interested in specializing in a particular area of forestry, like urban forestry or forest restoration.
Right.
Or maybe you see yourself moving into a leadership position or conducting research. Show them that you're invested in your professional journey.
Question 12 is a bit of a wild card.
Oh, really?
If you could be any tree, what species would you be and why?
Interesting.
This one throws people off sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's a chance to show your personality and your passion for trees.
Okay.
Think about the qualities of different trees.
Okay.
Are you strong and resilient like an oak?
Right.
Do you thrive in challenging environments like a pine? Are you a source of food and shelter for wildlife like a maple?
I see.
Connect your chosen tree to your own strengths and values, and don't be afraid to have a little fun with it.
I like that.
All right, we're nearing the finish line.
Okay.
Question 13 is, do you have any questions for us? This is your chance to gather information and show that you're engaged and genuinely interested in the role.
Have some thoughtful questions prepared. Ask about the team culture, opportunities for professional development, or specific projects you'd be working on.
Avoid asking questions that can be easily answered with a quick Google search.
Right.
This is your opportunity to go deeper and gain valuable insights.
And remember, even after the interview, RoleCatcher can continue to be a valuable resource.
Absolutely.
It can help you connect with other forestry professionals,
Yeah.
explore relevant job openings, and continue to build your skills and knowledge.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket, guiding you towards success in the exciting world of forestry.
It's about being a steward of the forest, thinking about future generations, and making sure we're using these resources wisely.
That's a great way to put it. And I think that sense of purpose and passion is what will ultimately make you successful in this field.
So as you head into that interview, remember to be confident, be prepared, and most importantly, be yourself. Let that love for forestry shine through, and I have no doubt you'll impress them.
Absolutely. And even if this particular interview doesn't lead to your dream job, don't get discouraged. The skills and insights we discussed today are valuable for any career path within the forestry sector.
That's so true. And remember, RoleCatcher's there to support you every step of the way, from refining your resume to expanding your professional network.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket, guiding you towards success in the exciting world of forestry.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Forestry Advisor interview. We hope you found it helpful and feel more prepared to tackle those tough questions.
Remember, you've got this. We're cheering you on.
And one last thought to leave you with. As you embark on this career journey, think about how you can inspire others to care about our forests. How can you be a voice for sustainable forestry practices and ensure these incredible ecosystems thrive for generations to come?
It's a question worth pondering, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, happy exploring.